You don't wake up. Waking up requires a brain. You don't have one. What happens instead is simpler and stranger than anything you've experienced before. One moment there is nothing. The next moment there is water, pressure, movement, light coming from somewhere above. You are already swimming. You have always been swimming. There was no beginning you can remember because there is no you that remembers anything. You are a box jellyfish, and you are the most dangerous animal in this ocean. You just have absolutely no idea. You hatched from an egg as a microscopic larva, attached yourself to a rock on the seafloor, and spent weeks as a tiny polyp, a stationary tube of tissue pulling nutrients from the water. Then, when conditions were right, you detached. You became a medusa, a bell, a floating killing machine the size of a human fist, with up to 60 tentacles trailing behind you, each one up to 3 meters long, each one covered in millions of nematocysts, the most sophisticated biological injection system ever evolved. Each nematocyst is a coiled harpoon, pressurized and spring-loaded, waiting for the slightest chemical or physical trigger. When something brushes a tentacle, a fish, a shrimp, a human swimmer who doesn't know you're there, those harpoons fire, not one, not 10, millions of them simultaneously, each one punching through skin and injecting venom directly into the bloodstream. The venom attacks the heart, it attacks the nervous system, it attacks the skin, all at once. A large dose stops a human heart in under 2 minutes. There is no antidote that works fast enough. You are, by any reasonable measure, the most venomous marine animal on the planet, and you have no opinion about this whatsoever. Here's the thing about you that nobody fully prepares for when they talk about how deadly you are. You have 24 eyes. This is more eyes than most vertebrates. 4 of those eyes are structurally similar to human eyes. They have a cornea, a lens, a retina. They can form images, they can detect color. They look, structurally, like the eyes of an animal that should be doing something intelligent with all that visual information. But the information goes nowhere useful. Your 24 eyes feed data into a simple nerve net, not a brain, not even a centralized ganglion, just a distributed network of neurons running through your bell like a loose electrical grid. There is no processing center, there is no place where the images are assembled into a picture of the world and evaluated and responded to with a decision. There is just stimulus and response. Light from above, swim toward it, obstacle in the path, pulse the bell to avoid it. Something touches the tentacle, fire the nematocysts. You are, in the most literal sense, a reflex with a heartbeat. And yet you navigate. Studies have shown that box jellyfish actively avoid mangrove roots. They orient toward light filtering through the surface. They move with purpose across lagoons, following patterns that look almost deliberate. One species, Triptydalia cystophora, was observed using its eyes to navigate by the light filtering through a forest canopy above the water, keeping itself centered in its habitat with surprising consistency. Was this intentional? Were you thinking? No, but the system works anyway. Evolution does not require awareness. It requires only that the thing that survives passes on its genes. You survive, you reproduce. The fact that you experience none of it, that there is no inner life behind those 24 eyes, no sensation of hunger or fear or pain, no experience of the venom firing or the prey dying, is irrelevant to the math. You pulse through the water of a shallow tropical bay. You are nearly invisible, your bell is transparent. A faint blue-gray in bright water, impossible to see until you are almost on top of something. Your tentacles drift behind you, invisible threads in the current, covering a kill zone that extends 3 meters in every direction. A small fish crosses into that zone. It does not see you. Nothing in this water has learned to see you in time. The tentacle does not reach for the fish. The tentacle just hangs there, passive, waiting. The fish swims into it. The nematocysts fire. The fish is dead before it finishes the motion that brought it into contact with your tentacle. You begin retracting the tentacle toward your bell, where a simple opening, not quite a mouth, functioning as both mouth and digestive cavity, receives the prey. You digest, you continue pulsing, you continue not thinking about any of it. Days pass this way. You pulse, you feed, you drift with the current and pulse against it when the current takes you somewhere your nerve net doesn't want to go. The sun above you shifts and you shift with it, always keeping the brightest light above you, always staying in the shallow warm water where the food is densest. The system is elegant. The system is ancient. Your basic body plan has existed for over 500 million years, long before fish had bones, long before anything with a spine had crawled onto land and looked around and started having opinions about things. You do not have opinions. You have survived longer than almost everything that does. Other things in this ocean try to eat you. Most fail. Sea turtles are one of the only animals that can consume you without being killed. They are immune to your venom, and your transparent body is apparently invisible to most of them too. But turtles are rare here. Sunfish eat jellyfish slowly and methodically. immune to the venom through some mechanism science has not fully explained. A few fish species dart in and nibble at your bell from angles where the tentacles cannot reach. But most animals learn. Most animals that brush a tentacle once do not survive to learn anything. The ones that do survive, the ones that got a glancing dose instead of a full one, the ones that got lucky, they don't come back. Your reputation, such as it is written in the absence of predators willing to try you twice. You are not territorial. You have no territory. You have no concept of space as yours or not yours. You pulse through water that belongs to everyone and no one, and you kill things that enter your radius and you continue existing. When two box jellyfish encounter each other, they do not interact. There is no recognition. There is no response. They pass through the same water column and continue in their respective directions as if the other were not there. Because to their nerve nets, the other is just water, is just pressure, is just the absence of a trigger. You are profoundly alone in a way that has no emotional weight because you cannot feel the weight of it. You reproduce. The males release sperm into the water during breeding season. The females take it in. Fertilized eggs are released. Some of them settle on rocks and become polyps. The polyps become medusas. The medusas become the next generation of invisible death drifting through warm, shallow bays. You will not remember any of your offspring. You will not know they exist. The transaction is complete the moment it is done, and you pulse onward. Months pass. You are not growing old in any way you understand. There is no accumulation of experience, no slow dimming of faculties, no awareness of time passing. There is just the water and the light, and the occasional trigger on the tentacles. But your body is changing anyway, the bell thinning, the pulsing slowing slightly, the tissue becoming less efficient at what it does. One day the pulse is slower than it was, the tentacles drift differently. A current that you would have navigated around before takes you somewhere unfamiliar, shallower than you should be, warmer, near a beach where the sand shifts and the water is murky. Something large moves nearby, a wave, a shadow. Your nerve net does not interpret this as danger, it interprets it as obstacle. Your bell pulses to correct course. It is not enough. The wave pushes you toward the shore, your bell touches sand, you pulse again. The water is too shallow now, the pulsing accomplishing nothing, the bell contracting against wet sand instead of open water. There is no panic. There is no understanding of what is happening. There is just the pulse and then the pause and then the pulse again, slower each time, until the pauses grow longer than the pulses, and then there is just the sound of waves and the weight of air on a body built for water. You never knew you were dying, you never knew you were alive. This is what it means to be born a box jellyfish, the most lethal animal in the sea.